you have achieved, and you have been instrumental in creating a TPM community. Maybe you can quickly introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Harman. I've been part of the TPM community for a while. I am a seasoned leader with a technical background, over 2 decades of experience in technology. Throughout my career, I have worked on various initiatives and done significant contributions in engineering and then technical program management. So my journey started at Texas Instruments, and from there I worked at Amazon, Airbnb, Uber, and more recently I started at McAfee as a senior director of TPM.
Nice. Right. Tell us about. So, I think I have to admit if you have not been doing this meetups and building the TPM community, and specifically also in Silicon Valley, I think we wouldn't sit here. So,
Yeah.
tell us how did you come up with the idea? How did you start it? What do you enjoy most about
Sure.
making these meetups happen?
Sure. So I think so. As I mentioned, the journey a bit in terms of where I worked, right? One key thing that I ended while I was at Amazon, right? Amazon was a place where TPMs were big. So I learned from other TPMs out there. Amazon used to have an internal TPM conference. So I knew there is something in this trait where people can learn from each other, right? When I moved to Airbnb in 2018, end of 2018, it was a new community. There were few TPMs early in the life cycle. And then I got introduced to a small group of TPMs in San Francisco at Lyft, Slack, who were doing this in-person meetups. And there was a Lyft event that I participated at. And that's where it clicked me that, okay, we could do something similar to Airbnb. I decided to host the next event just in time before COVID hit us, right? A week before COVID, we had an in-person event and came to know a lot of people. There was already a Slack workspace that Slack had helped us create, right? So I latched onto that immediately after COVID. I met Janet as part of that, and we decided, what should we do virtually now that we are all stuck in our homes? And we just came up with the idea of virtual panel conversation where we can add value in everyday life. They were difficult to organize at first, so we did once every quarter, picking up a topic, picking up panelists, running the show, bringing the people in, preparing for it, and running a 1 hour good session and virtually collaborating at that. So that helped me instill more of my community feeling about TPMs.
Yeah.
And from there on, here we are at TPM Summit. You can see so many folks out there. So excited to see so many people out down here.
Yeah, I mean, I got also exposed to that, and when I was also speaking at the
Yeah.
summit, and you've been doing the panel last year, and you're trying the panel this year as well.
Yeah, I'm running the panel this year. Yes.
I think last year was a big kickstart again, or an amplification of TPM trails. We're doing this podcast now. We brought it to Europe, or Mavica brought it to India. I think also very important because in India there are many TPMs.
Yes.
And I think what do you enjoy most about being at TPM when you're not organizing meetups?
For me, I think so. The way I will say it as a TPM, the few things that matter to me is delivering the business outcomes, right? I think as TPMs, our role typically is being that glue with all the cross-functional teams that go to deliver business outcomes. Now, it's very easy for TPM to say, I'm a technical program manager, I'll get sucked into solving engineering problems or product problems, but we forget that at the end of the day, we are delivering to some business outcomes that the organization needs from us. So sticking to that and having that strong sense of ownership and accountability really is what I enjoy the most, right? So I think so for me, and as it broadens my perspective when I'm delivering to those, it has helped me with my professional and personal growth. And I would say the 3 key pieces that I feel TPMs add the most value on. One is you are the ones peeling the onion, right? You bring that clarity in the program. Your role is to resolve the ambiguity. Like if no one is solving, doesn't mean the problem cannot be solved. You have to solve it, right? You have to manage the dependencies. You have to manage the risk. So everything that needs to be brought in control, you have to manage all that chaos around it and bring that control. You cannot live in chaos. Second is distilling things into chunks, digestible chunks. streams. I call them work streams, you call them whatever you want, but you're trying to bring things into reasonable chunks, and you have a lot of technical know-how to do that, right? And third is crisp communication, right? The key part as a TPM is to make it very crisp and clear in terms of where the problems are, how are you solving it, and if you need leadership help, then getting their help to solve it. You cannot just escalate saying, hey, there's a problem, right? But your job is to solve it.
Yeah.
If you're not able to solve, one way to solve it is to bring leadership attention. You need to be clear to them, this is why you need their help. So being crisp in your communication is very, very critical.
Yeah. And I mean, like your senior director, which advice would you give TPMs like who are starting out or are early in their career? Which two things like would you give them along in their journey, which maybe you both didn't know at the beginning, you didn't know, but maybe
Yes.
getting smarter over years.
I think the one thing I'll say is your life is not about doing tasks like Jen mentioned in the keynote this morning. Like number of tasks do not equate to impact,
Yeah.
right? And as a TPM, your role is to have an impact on the initiative, and that's why you're there to meet the business outcome instead. So find what is expected of you, which is not always clear. So you have to resolve that ambiguity for yourself, right? How do you make an impact? What are your leadership looking for from you? And start doing that. And one thing I've learned so far in different roles at IC, management, and leadership is about as you enter in new, as you transition into new role, when you change companies, we try to be perfect. We want to show a good face. What I've learned very recently from one of our CTOs is like, perfect is the enemy of good,
Yeah.
right? So I would say jump in, see what is needed, start making changes. You need to be iterative. You cannot be perfect, and you cannot wait for things to happen. You have to make them happen, and you learn along the way, and you'll be iterative.
You said it, one important thing in summary as well is like you still learn. And everyone is learning, and I mean, if you look out there, everyone is here next to networking, also for learning. What are you looking for most in the panel that is upcoming?
I think for me, it's about sharing my experience. There's a lot of buzz around AI, so I'm looking to learn about what others have to say about AI. I'll share something on the front in the panel, so you go watch out the panel for that. But for me, I think it's about sharing experiences, getting everyone. You learn from each other, and I think so. At times we feel very individual, so we feel cornered. We feel we are stuck. But no, you just keep floating, you just keep doing things, keep moving on, and you will find your path forward.
Yeah, I think like also like Tim spoke about like AI prompting for TPM. So let's see where this AI work brings us these days.
Yes.
And Arman, as mentioned, like it was my pleasure to interview.
Same here, Michael. Yeah.
Keep pushing, keep going, and I'm looking forward.
Thank you for doing this podcast. I think it's such a great addition to our TPM community, building that information stream that can flow out to people, and we can learn from each other. This is all adding value.
Yeah, for those who are missing Paul, he will come later to the after sessions. So thank you very much for dialing in. We are back at 11:45 with James Cody.
See you. Thank you.